All right, I'm here with Jake Taylor, star wide receiver, Swan City Titans, Australian man of mystery. Jake, what's going on?
Not much, brother. Not much. Good to see you. Good to hear from you.
Good to see you as well. Got to get used to the perfect level of Australian accent. Broken enough to keep it fresh, but also Aussie enough to keep it fun. Yeah?
Yeah, at least you can kind of understand me, but I've also got a little twang of Bogan in me, so just keeping it balanced.
Keeping it balanced. Yeah. I honestly forgot what you sounded like in person. So it's been really good for
It's
me.
been a minute. It's been
A
a
minute.
hot minute.
So let's start with the Jake Taylor freak athlete football career, or all over sports career. So let's start little Jake, young Jake. What's he doing?
So young Jake, I started playing football, so AFL at the age of 5.
Yep.
And then that was basically just my life from the age of 5 until the age of probably like 18, 19.
So
That was basically it.
Explain football. It doesn't have to be like layman's terms, but like what you did, why you were good at it, etc.
All right, so once I started getting into like more senior football and actually found my position, for like the senior teams and the high level teams, I was a defender. So I was a defensive tagger. So what that means is if there's someone on their team that is like a goal scoring machine, that was my person, and my job was just to not let them score at all. And I guess I found that fun, and I turned out to be good at it because I just went on the field. Doesn't matter who it is. If they kicked 7 goals last week, my mentality in any sport I do is you're not better than me. I'm going to win every single contest. So just went out, just did everything I needed to do. If I'd only touched the ball twice, but they didn't kick any goals, that's a big win. After I did that, I moved away for a little while, came back, got bored of playing defense. So then I moved to playing in the forward line. I wanted to start kicking goals instead of stopping them. And then just my attack on the ball, like I'm a bit crazy. I got no self-preservation. So just 100% all the time, just always sell out, leave everything on the field. So that's basically it, really.
Footy is how many people? 15 on 15?
There's 18 on 18.
18 on 18. Gigantic circle field. And like,
yep, oval field. So from goalpost to goalpost is 50, and then 50 is 100. So it's almost like 180 meters from one end of the field to the other. And then it's probably in the middle of the field where it's the fattest, 50, and then probably like 20. So probably like another 80 meters in the fattest part of the oval. So it's 180 this way, and then 100, and then about 80 that way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so what would you say your skill set that helped you the most in footy? Kicking, your just overall crazy madness, your attacking, your strength?
Just my attack on the football. Like I didn't really care if the person in front of me, it was 110 kilos or the smallest person on the field. I always just attack the football as hard as I could. My tackle pressure. I love tackling people because it's really fun. Just the constant tackle pressure. And then I've got, probably not now because I haven't played for a while, but in my peak, I had very good skills at foot. I was able to hit targets, things like that. And playing for so long, I got good knowledge of the game. So knowing where to be and in the best position to get the ball or stop them from getting the ball.
Yeah, just from a young age, learn that handball crap.
Yeah.
Passing to each other.
Yeah.
If I had to say how much you love footy, 1 to 10, what would you say?
Playing it? When I'm out on the field, it's 10 out of 10 because it's the sport that I've grown up playing. I don't watch it. Like I'm not one of those die-hard football is my life. I love playing it, but that's about it. No, I go for the Adelaide Crows, unfortunately. They're like the worst team.
All right, Adelaide Crows fan? No one's going to know who the Adelaide Crows are.
They just suck. That's all they need to know.
Who won this last year? Last year I was there, Eagles won.
I think Richmond won it this year. Pretty sure. They've won it 2 years in a row now. So.
Over in Melbourne. So what footy player would you say is your like? So like as a American football player, you'd say your comp is who?
Oh, who I compare myself to?
Yeah, like who's the NFL version of Jake Taylor, American
Oh,
football player?
um,
Like,
I like to think of myself as like a little bit of a bigger Edelman, like because
yeah,
I play that slot receiver position, so I can run the routes. I love running inside, but then I can also got the speed, but I'm also just a little bit bigger. So I'd consider myself like a Edelman,
like Anquan
and
Bolden is what I was gonna say. Larry
yeah,
Fitzgerald, big guy.
yeah,
So for
people like
footy,
that.
who's Jake Taylor for footy?
Oh, um, honestly, I don't. I play the sport. I don't know the sport. So at the moment, I haven't watched a game of football in probably 3 years. So I wouldn't be able to tell you,
All right,
unfortunately.
that's about where I'm at too. So that's fine. I thought you were gonna teach me something. I was gonna be like, so
No,
not
wait.
Patrick Dangerfield. Who are you?
No, not Patrick Dangerfield. Definitely not. He
No.
is a machine, and he plays a completely different position to what I play. So
His is called forward.
yeah, he plays forward, but he plays centre half forward, which is like a key position, so that the ball goes through them a lot. Would play more of like a forward flank, so I'd be around their feet if they drop the ball. Even though I'm over 6 foot, around the on the ground picking up the little crumbs, snaking it around. I think Patrick Dangerfield's like 6'5", probably like 105 kilos, so he's a monster.
Monster run down the middle. Okay, so footy till you're 18. What led to no more footy or switching out or traveling?
I moved to New Zealand. So my first year out of school, I moved to New Zealand and did a year of mission work over there.
So why did you want
Um,
to go to New Zealand first?
so it was through my school. So it was a school program. I got the opportunity to go to another. So I went to a La Sallian school, kind of like in America. They've got La Salle College, I think it is.
Yeah.
De La Salle College or whatever. So I went to a La Salle high school over in WA, and there's also another De La Salle High School in New Zealand. And through a program that we have, we get to send a couple of people over there. And I was lucky enough, and I just went over there. It's a poor school in a high risk area with at risk youth. So I just got to go over there, be a mentor, kind of like an older brother, and just have fun with the kids. Got to travel around a beautiful country for a year and just experience a new thing. So I did dabble a little bit of because I have AFL over there, but I played a couple games and I just wasn't at the level that I wanted to play, so I didn't really play.
And so while you were over there is when you found American football or what?
Yes, indeed, because I wanted to play something over there, because football, like AFL, wasn't doing it for me because they're obviously not as good as we are over here. And I didn't want to play rugby because everyone over there is scary big. And then one of my friends, he played for the South Auckland Raiders, which was just down the road from me. And he's like, come down. I was like, actually, that might work because I still get to run around and I'm still playing against really big people. But now I've got a little bit of protection with the helmet and pads. So that's where I found football and that's where I fell in love with it.
Did you have any knowledge before you went down to South Auckland, NFL or positions or?
I knew positions and things like that. I go for the Baltimore Ravens, and that's basically it. That was my knowledge. I knew that I didn't like the Patriots because they were just really, really good, and it was just like I'm sick of them being good. Why can't the Ravens be good? And then I went down there and had no idea about routes, I basically knew quarterback, running back, and receiver. That was about it. No idea about schemes or anything. So they just basically put me at receiver and were like, Jake, run here and we'll throw you the ball. And that's how it started.
Perfect. So how many games did you end up playing in New Zealand?
It was only like
Yeah.
six games. I did play, 6 games. I was playing in the juniors team.
How'd it go? Were you successful?
So I don't know. It was a long time ago now. Didn't go. I think I scored in the 6 games, I think I scored like 2 touchdowns, but also just being brand new, it was fun. I was just out there having fun. I was just glad to be trying something new, really, meeting new people, doing something new. I've always got this little thing for obscure sports, like that not everyone plays. Like I played ultimate frisbee. And yeah, so I don't really like doing things that are just normal, like in the norm. I always like to be a little bit outside the box and hear other things that go.
So how did you find the frisbee?
So that started when I was playing football at a pretty high level. My mum's friends played in a social team, and my mum was like, "Oh, you should come down. They need another boy, and you need to stay fit in the off season." So I went down, played social, and it's absolutely fell in love with that sport as well. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Okay, so then you leave New Zealand, you're coming back, and you come back to Perth, and that's about the time Titans was starting?
Yeah, as before I came back to Perth, probably a month or two, is when the first ever poster to the Titans, like new team in Stratton, and because when I came, because I'd fell in love with the sport, I was gonna come back, and I was actually probably gonna go to the Perth Broncos because
Yeah.
they were the closest team from where I was living. And then my mum actually sent me the poster. She was like, "Here's a team in Stratton. It's only 5 minutes down the road," and so it begins.
So it begins. So then you're probably fresh back first couple days then when we have the open day.
It would have been. I got back in like December. So yeah, it wouldn't have been long. It would have been, yeah, probably not a couple of days, probably like maybe a month
Yeah.
or so. But yeah, I was fresh, basically fresh off the plane and in the pads and helmet and having a bit of fun.
Having a bit of fun. So that first season, how'd you find it? First season of proper senior football.
It was good. It was a huge learning curve. I found that probably NFL is one of the most technical and highest learning curve sports probably in the world, because you can't really be not switched on and play. Like a lot of sports, you can just be athletic and just have that work for you, but you actually have to kind of know what's going on
Yeah.
with football. So it was a big learning curve, but having you as my quarterback certainly helped.
Yeah. We had pretty
Had
good
some fun.
season. What was kind of your takeaways from your first year as you
Um,
grew, got better?
uh, just that oh, I just fell in love with the sport more because I got to play more. Um, Turned out to be a pretty decent wide receiver. You threw me the ball a lot, which made it pretty fun. I found that pads and helmet make it really fun to hit people. So I just fell in love with the physicality of the sport. Um, the fact that you run for a little bit and then you get a little bit of a break. You run for a little bit more, you get a little bit of a break. Like with frisbee and football, it's just non-stop running. So you score a touchdown, you get off and you have a little bit of a break and you just relax. But my takeaways were just that it's an amazing sport and everyone should give it a go.
Do you think that part of the learning and the fact that there are breaks makes it harder for Australians to kind of get on board with it? That you can't just come down, rock up, and play?
I think, yeah, the fact that it's not like, because we obviously don't play it over here. So, like in America, it's your sport. Like, it's if you guys came over here and tried to play football, you'd have a little bit of a, it'd be a little bit of a head, like mess around with your head a little bit. And I think, yeah, the learning curve, because if you're playing offense, you've got to like routes and things like that. There's so many different routes, and then there's schemes, and then playing O line, like blocking schemes, and then defense, coverages, all that type of stuff. So there's a million things that you got to think about. So I think that might be something that keeps people away, and it could possibly be the physicality of it. Because with football, you're tackling, you're kind of running away from people. You know, it's not just head on like that. That's why I think rugby players like playing gridiron, because it's so much like rugby. You just got pads and helmet on now.
Yeah, so much more physical. Okay, so then we
Yeah.
go into 2018, 15-1 championship. What's your takeaway from that year, second year?
We are the best. Finally, like making the being super proud of everyone in our first season to make the grand final. Coming straight out of brand new club, make the grand final. let everyone know who the Titans are, and then to follow that up in season 2 and actually get the ring, get the win, just showed everyone that we're a force to be reckoned with, so don't mess with us.
How'd you feel your growth personally was season 1 to season 2?
It was exponential. I felt a lot more confident. Instead of just in season 1, it was I kind of just got away with being an athlete and no one kind of knew who I was. Season 2 was a little bit harder because being, I guess, the number 1 receiver, everyone kind of knew who 15 was. My knowledge of the game grew more, so I was able to, even though people knew who I was and knew my technique and things like that, I was actually able to use smarts as well as athleticism to still be a beast.
Perfect. Then you go back into last year and you guys end up losing the championship. What kind of how'd that season, kind of the third season?
Yeah, that one was a little bit tougher because we were like first 2 seasons we had you as a quarterback, and then having a new quarterback like Travis, absolutely love him, but in the first season probably wasn't too confident as a quarterback, so I didn't throw the ball as much. Yeah, it was just a little bit disappointing with the way it turned out because we'd gone from season 1 to season 2, and then we kind of plateaued and then dropped off a little bit with how we went in the West Bowl. So yeah, just a little bit disappointed, but you can't stay at the top forever. So if someone's got to win, someone's got to lose, and unfortunately it was us. So now we just got to come back better.
Did you start doing, because I know you did some more running back and stuff, did you start doing some more defense stuff and two? Like what else did you kind of do?
Yeah, so I went from season 1 and season 2 to just playing wide receiver, more slot receiver, to being running back. Yeah, pretty much mostly a running back to the little bit of receiver. Found running back really fun because that's like playing season 1, season 2 was good. And then season 3, I was like, all right, I want a little bit more physicality. Didn't get the chance to jump over to defense. So running back gave me that chance to just start running over people and showing them that they're weak. Didn't get a chance to get on defense, but there's always this year.
Yeah, because what I don't, we kind of put you at receiver just to give me someone to throw the ball to every play. But which position do you think that maybe is your, like I've sent your film to a college coach and he said I think he's an outside linebacker. What position do you
Yeah,
think you're best suited towards?
I feel like something like an outside linebacker would be good because I got the speed to be able to get back into pass coverage or anything like that. But then I've also got the speed again and the physicality to be able to play big hits. Receiver, I think like a slot receiver or a wideout, because playing football, all we do is catch footies, catch balls. So translating over into gridiron, and you know it as well. I didn't really drop much.
Yeah.
So
How would you say the transition's
receiver.
gone from catching a ball that spirals this way and you kind of have your hands together versus footy, you guys catch it more wide?
It's catching a football is catching a football. It didn't really affect me much.
Less of a big deal than I've been giving guys credit for.
Yeah, it's people just they use that as an excuse.
So this season and going forward, where's your head at?
So I was actually going to have a little bit of a break this season, but I've just got itchy feet. So I missed the first 3 games. I've re-registered and I'll be playing this weekend. I think I'm gonna be trained at free safety as well, so get on the other side of the ball. But just my head is just to go out and just do what I do best, and that's just catch footballs and score touchdowns, really.
So going forward with the sport, you probably never are you thinking about any way football in your future, or just something to do for fun as you kind of live in Australia, or what's kind of do you have any future plans you've thought of?
I don't really have any future plans. Like if the opportunity arose to go to college or possibly go to Europe or anything like that, then it'd be an amazing experience. And not everyone, especially Australians, not everyone over here gets the opportunity to go or have someone call up and actually want you to fly halfway across the world to play a sport just because they've seen some footage of you. So if the opportunity arose, then I'd dive head first straight into it. But yeah, like I just love playing sport. Sport is a big part of my life, and if there's an opportunity to make that something bigger, then I'm going to go straight for it. Really.
Are you still playing any footy or frisbee or anything else other part of the year?
I don't play frisbee anymore. That ship kind of sailed. I did. I played like my peak at that. I played for Australia when I was 16, and then kind of dropped off from that. I'm gonna go back and play footy again this year because I coached last year. Coached the women's team, and just having the couple of years off of footy to play gridiron. Um, Having that space away from football and then going back to football, I kind of fell in love with the sport again because I kind of got just a little bit sick of it with the kind of bit of the culture and just I've been playing it for so long. It just got a little bit boring. Um, but yeah, now that I've gotten back into the football scene, I'll after the gridiron's done, I'll go back and play footy again, have another season at that, see how I go, see how my body holds up. And yeah, but that's pretty much sport wise. Sometimes I'll just go something if someone needs some help with a team or anything like that. But yeah, it's just basically footy and gridiron at the moment.
If I said you're in charge, what needs to be done to raise the Australian leagues, raise the level?
Right, I think a little bit more publicity, like get it out there a little bit more. So like social media, obviously being the day and age that we're in now, big social media presence would help. Like you know as well as I do, in our first season, because we had such a good team, like Lake, you, other people just absolutely pumping it out on Facebook, Instagram, and things like that. We had 70 players, so it just needs, I think, a little bit more push. Just word of mouth, things like that. Try and get into people that are like a bit scared and things like that. It's like, it's not that scary. It's really fun. It's an obscure sport. You're going to meet new people. So I think so once you get the word out to more people, more people come, then you've got more, like a bigger pool to choose from, more talent comes. You find people that you wouldn't usually find that turned out to be absolute beasts and just things like that, really, I reckon.
Yeah. So what do you think is the problem with the retention of Australians? So I've played in a couple countries now, and I'd say Australia, you can get a ton of them in, but then you get a ton of them right back out the door, lost interest in it or going somewhere else. Whereas most of these other countries, you get them in, you kind of have them.
Yeah, I don't know. It just might be an Australian thing, really. Like, because footy is just, it's like church over here, really. Once you can't, if you've got someone who's super ingrained in football, it's kind of hard to get them out if they're not willing to get out. So, yeah, it could just be Australians don't like change or whatever. A couple of people might not like me saying that, but the truth is the truth.
It's a football culture.
Hmm.
So what's been your favorite memory of playing the game? Favorite game doesn't have to be other than the championship.
Um, Probably, I reckon, oh, I've got a couple. I reckon game one against the Curtin Saints at home. First game of the season, first game as the club going out. I think may have scored the first touchdown for the team or the second one, like first receiving touchdown for the team. And then that play where it was supposed to be a punt and then fell to pieces and somehow I ended up with the ball, scored a touchdown.
I threw your great
I had,
pass.
yeah, it was a great pass. Good scrambling by you. There was another game last year, again, against the Curtin Saints, where I just feel like I just had a ripper of a game. So in our championship season, we had obviously Zach kicking the ball, our kicker. He's left, so then I took over the responsibility of the kicker.
How much did Zach help you with learning about kicking?
He helped me a lot. I met him just clicked instantly, best friend. And learning about kicking. I didn't obviously we punt the ball, so I can punt the ball, but kicking the ball off the ground was something completely new to me. Didn't even do it while he was here, and then just watching him really, because he's so good at it. Bloody amazing. And then going in this Curtin Saints game, I think I scored like three touchdowns and kicked and converted all three of them. And then I actually kind of fulfilled one of my bucket list items as a footballer, playing running back and absolutely trucked someone, just ran straight over them. So I just made myself feel really happy about that. So that would be one of my favorite memories. And then obviously winning the ring, actually.
None of the catching the bag games. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, catching a bag, that Jets game where I caught 4 touchdowns. That was pretty fun.
You've caught a couple bags.
Oh yeah, couple threes. I think I've only
Only
caught
one 4 game ever then.
1-4 game.
Okay.
Usually threes. I'm still yet to crack the 1,000-yard receiving yet. But yeah, and then obviously
of the years
winning this thing.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely that.
Okay, so your favorite team's still the Ravens?
Yes, indeed.
Who's your favorite player?
I was Lamar Jackson, just human joystick, just human cheat code. I like Mark Ingram because he just runs downhill and his energy, just absolute beast. And Brandon, he's a D lineman. I can't remember his last name. He's cool as well. And then Calais Campbell, pretty sure he plays.
Calais Campbell, yeah, big Calais Campbell.
Yeah, he's good as well. And yeah, go with those 4.
Go with those 4. Did Zach teach anything about punting that he learns over on that side of the world that you haven't applied to your footy punting?
Not really. No. It's kind of the same thing. It's just a little bit of like, obviously with punting in NFL, you're not trying to kick it to a person. So like in footy, kicking the ball is almost 99% of the game. So punting for me it's easy because I've been doing it since I was 5. Just different type of punting. Instead of kicking it to the person, I'm just trying to kick it as big as I can. I think one of the things that he taught me that I keep in my head when I'm punting, if I'm punting, is just for every 10 yards of distance you get, you need a second of airtime. So if it goes 40 yards, 4 seconds of airtime. And that's just so if I'm kicking it far, I try and kick it high. But punting's punting, really. The type of punch you guys do, like the spiral, it's just called a torpedo over here when we need a little bit extra distance in our kicks. So kind of knew how to do it, just learning when to do it, where to put it, things like that.
Do you think there's any footy guys playing pro footy or whatever down there in AFL that could be NFL punters, but just haven't really worked on it or looked into it?
Well, I think everyone probably not the smaller players, but you could take any AFL player and make them a punter because kicking is what we do. So you're just teaching us how to kick in a different sport, really, kick a different shaped ball. Like there's a couple I think there's one of the punters, I think the punter for the Eagles is Australian. Yep. There's the punter for the 49ers is Australian.
I think he's from Perth.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure he played for South Fremantle Bulldogs, Waffle. But anyway, so like I reckon you could take any professional footballer and turn him into an NFL punter because kicking is half the battle when you're trying to teach someone how to punt, and we have been kicking all of our lives. And then it's just, like I said before, just kicking a different shaped ball in a different sport. So, yeah, I reckon the skills will translate straight over.
So what's the next step in your American football game? How do you keep pushing yourself to get better and keep chasing new goals?
What's your next just learning more. So I want to, before I was training a little bit and I was learning how to play quarterback. So before I left, I was going to be QB1 for our team. But then I've obviously left. But I mean, quarterback would definitely be something that I'd like to give a go. Playing defense, just learning everything that I can about the game to just improve it and improve as much as I possibly can. Like I've got playing wide receiver and playing running back down pat. Like I can do that stuff in my sleep. And now go over and play defense so I can learn all the coverages and things like that. So when I do go play wide receiver, if I see what's going on, I'll be like, all right, they're playing this route, I'm going to get the ball here. Or if I play, because I've played receiver, I go and play defense, like as a safety or a backer or something like that. When I do eventually, hopefully, get a go at quarterback, I can look up and see what they're doing and not freak out because I don't know what's going on. I can instantly look up and be like, all right, they're in cover 2 or they're in cover 4 or whatever like that. So it's just learning as much as possible, really. And then just seeing where it takes me. If someone sees me and wants to give me a go somewhere else, then so be it. Give it a crack.
What was going through your head when I got injured and my backup wasn't there, and we said, Jake, you've never taken a snap before, but you're the quarterback for the second half of
It was
game.
just go out and just give it a go.
Give it a go.
Just give it a go, really. I was down for the challenge, and I think I completed 1 out of 3 passes, so it's not too bad. 33%, can't complain. And then just kind of, if it broke down, I was just confident enough in my athleticism to just go get yards.
Yeah, didn't freak out though. It was good.
Yeah, just we've got no one else to play this position, and I guess it's me, so I've just got to go and do it.
Perfect. So thanks, Jake. I appreciate it. This was me with Jake Taylor, the star wide receiver of the Swan City Titans. Can't wait to see where he ends up next.
Cheers, Tyus. Good hearing from you too again, brother.
Yeah, bud.